everyone. Today we're talking about bootstrapping your marketing practice, especially for startups who don't have a lot of cash to burn. So, when we're launching our business, it's really an exciting time. You know, you have a product or solution that's just going to change the face of the market that you're in. It's going to help solve your customers' problems. Opening up a ton of opportunity for different people or different organizations. And so, there's lots that you want to do, but there's a lot of things that are also holding you back. You don't have the budget that you need to do things. You don't have the team that you need to do things. And so bootstrapping comes in because you're just trying to do as much free stuff as you can. And free meaning you're not actually paying someone else to do this for you, but you're doing it in-house. And so we're going to look at the tactics that you can put into place to do a lot of this bootstrapping on a very shoestring budget, meaning it's just going to be gutted out and it's going to be done with the help of your team. So the first thing that I'm always going to recommend is content. It is, and the adage content is king is still true. So one of the things that you can invest in and that doesn't require money, it doesn't require anything else. If you have a website, add a blog, add a section of blog that you can add blogs in, that you can write to, that you can communicate some of your messages. And it doesn't have to be a perfect blog. It should tell your story. You should be able to have enough resources inside that you can publish something at least on a monthly basis, but something that will get your messages going, that will you can use in social promotions, that you can use to reference potential customers to. It just can be a very great way to communicate your message in a written format or a video format. And one of the things I like to do here is to not only write what I'm talking about, but do a video so that depending on how you like to digest your content, you have choices. But doing something like that is going to be cheap and effective. You also should be focusing on SEO. So with your website, doesn't require like an expert to do this, but you're going to decide what terms you want to own in the industry. What is your project or what is your product or service associated with? What are the key words that are common industry terms that you can adopt and put into your content on your website that's going to help the algorithms find you easier? You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to use that term constantly over and over again in every sentence. You want to use it sporadically so it supports the content that you're writing. But it is a great way for people to find you, especially if you have a really good SEO strategy. There's certain things that you can do. Look up an article on the simple things that you can do for SEO, but it shouldn't cost you anything besides your time. And you want to be consistent. So that's the one thing with content as you're putting it together is you don't want to be one and done. You want to put together your content, your blog, whatever it is, your SEO, and then keep updating that. So keep writing blogs, keep writing assets. It may seem like in the beginning you're not getting a lot of traction, but over time you will. Especially as you build your audience, they're going to want to listen to what you're doing and they're going to eventually see you as a thought leader. So being consistent in that content is great. And then don't be afraid to repurpose. So a lot of companies see writing content as a one-off thing. You write a blog and then it goes away, and that shouldn't be the case. You should be able to use that blog over and over again, pieces of that blog or expanding on topics that were included in the blog into something that's more focused. But using content over and over again is great because what you have to consider is everybody is super busy nowadays. We're not seeing everything that comes out from everyone and every company. And so the more that you can repeat, the better, because they'll be able to see your logo over and over again. It reinforces your message, and they may have forgotten what you put out. They may have not read it the first time. They might see it the second or third time and then decide to read it and consume it. So be consistent and repeat messages. The next thing is social media. Very inexpensive way to get your messages out there. But if you haven't started a LinkedIn account, do that. It's the primary one for B2B, and just post every once in a while. It doesn't have to be something that's part of a campaign or the big old narrative that you thought of, but post on a regular basis. Take those blogs, put them on social media. If you go to an event, post some images from the event. If you have a new product release or something else, put it on social media. It's just a great way to feed that audience and to get your name out there. Now, another one that people don't tend to, or that they say is a dying thing, is email marketing. And I do not believe it's dying. If you have any form on your website that is bringing people in and that is allowing people to connect with you in like an email format where they're providing their email, you should be collecting that information and you should be emailing them on a regular basis. You don't want to oversaturate them. You don't want to send too many messages, but you want to share updates with them because these people have taken the time to pay attention to you. Now it's time for you to give them something and nurture them. Most of the individuals that you will interact with are not going to be ready to buy your product or service right away. They may be ready in 6 months. They may be ready in a year. You want to cultivate those relationships so when they are ready to buy, they think of you first. With email marketing, it's a great way to build more affinity with this audience, to build trust with them so that when they have a problem, they think of you. And so use email marketing. It's cheap. It's a easy thing that you can do, and just email these individuals on a regular basis. Again, it could be the same things you're putting on social media, you're putting into an email, or you're sharing information that you wouldn't put out externally, but you're sharing it with your audience that is a closed group. So use that. It's not a dying initiative. The next one is networking collaboration. If you are not networking with others in your market, if you're not interacting with press, if you're not interacting with analysts, you start doing that. It's a very inexpensive way to just send a message to them, try to connect with them, have a meeting or a coffee or just even a small chat. But that doesn't cost you money to do that. It's time, yes, which in a different way is an investment, but it's a great way to get your name out there, to make connections with people, and you never know who those people are going to connect you to. The next one is listen to your customers or prospects. So if you don't have customers, listen to the individuals that are giving you feedback, that are thinking about buying your solution. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get that information. Some companies spend a lot on programs that allow them to capture the information from their customers, but simple emails. What do you think? Ask them a couple of questions. Get that feedback in. Start looking at that feedback as something that you can do to build up your organization. If they're having a problem with their customer experience, treat that symptom and see what's going on. If they talk about the problems that you're solving for them, that's great feedback for now your marketing messages. So getting customer feedback or prospect feedback is a great way to start building your practice and to get fodder for even more content. And the last one is LinkedIn groups. So if you haven't checked out LinkedIn groups for your market, I suggest you do that. There are thousands and thousands of LinkedIn groups out there. People like using them so that they can learn from others in the organization, but it's a great way to network. It's a great way to get your content in front of other people because you can post your articles, your blogs or whatever it is, your news coverage. And so it's just a great way to build that brand. So these are some of my ideas for bootstrapping. If you have any others, leave them in the comments section of this post. And if you have any questions for me, email me at rosa@rosalear.com and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks. Bye.